Part 3, as promised. US Pluto return. If you were seeing this, it's part 3. So you're going to want to backtrack. Start with 1, get to 2. I'm going to try to wrap this all up in this part 3. And then the next video you see will be the Oracle observation in alignment with Pluto and Oya and this very, very intense energy. Again, I have been channeling this information for years and has been ramping up in the last couple of years and the last few months. So that's why there's been so much, which I've condensed, believe it or not. Historical, that's next. On average, it is believed that empires last about 250 years before their collapse, their demise, their fall. That has been the case for Persia, for Greece, for Rome, for Spain, until there was a switch over, some type of cultural change, some type of leadership change, an amalgam of different nations so that that particular empire in itself kind of switched over. That happened often during Pluto returns. There have been a lot of deaths in leadership, formations of new governments, systems and structures, cultural transformations, technological advancements, ultimate demise, end of the world as they knew it, shift in direction, perspective, and paradigm shifts. There again, in terms of this 250 years, Pluto again, in Pluto's return revolution, it's an average of 246 to 248 years. So we are in this moment here of Pluto's return, and in 2026 is when the United States will reach its 250-year mark. So this is why it's really important to think about how Pluto does its revolution, the slowness, but yet how monumental the transformation is in that revolution, in that time frame, because again of how quickly things have already started to change and transform from 2008. Now we're in 2022, reaching this kind of peak energy in terms of the degrees that Pluto was in the United States chart in Capricorn, and 4 years shy of this potential known to be end of an era, of an empire. So it's important to think about that. Older countries that experienced certain things during Pluto returns, because of them being older countries, they've had Pluto returns before. Like I mentioned, Rome fell. In Britain, Queen Elizabeth reigned, and there was another point where the slave trade started for Britain. In France, Napoleon's death happened during a Pluto return, and in Russia, Stalin's death happened during a Pluto return. We could see similar happenings such as that during this time, in terms of leadership, in terms of system structures, and how it will again affect the world at large. There are Mayan calendar predictions from the 2020. Originally we thought it was 2012, and then it was read wrong, and then we see now and understand now that 2020 is when they were referring to the kind of end of the era. We're going now, or went into full-on Age of Aquarius energy. That is where we're thinking about this better way of life that is potential, that is coming for us through this destruction. It's a back to natural lifestyle. It's about thinking about being eco-friendly. It's about thinking about being off-grid. It's about, more alignment, ancestral alignment and reverence, returning to earth, revering nature, being eco-conscious, thinking about gardening and agriculture and plant-based diets and fasting. It's a spiritual resurrection that this is thinking about that the sun will come out tomorrow, right? This is thinking about with the apocalypse, with what's revealed, with the destruction, when Oya comes through and tears down the old to bring in the new, this new earth energy. That is what is the sweet from the bitter that awaits us through this. And this is what I really want us to focus on. It is kind of like, oh my God, when you look at what could happen, but we really do have to focus on the fact that it's necessary, and what could come from what I'm going to list here can only happen through that destruction, through that chaos. So Again, bittersweet, but we focus on the sweet. We got to. And again, ancestral alchemy is about ancestral alignment, veneration, intervention. Asking for their assistance during this time is so imperative. We have to think about compassion and forgiveness, collective consciousness, again, atonement for what happened on this land that does not belong to anyone other than the original people that were already here before 1776 or whatever other time from before that, before they signed their little declaration. So these are the things that are about to happen: reversal of land rights, justice for Black people in the United States, and the link to Al-Kebulan, to Africa, and what happened in regards to the transatlantic slave trade. Spiritual paths more validated and confirmed, reparations all across the board, tangible discoveries in energetic, vibrational, and frequency realities, where there'll be breakthroughs in quantum physics and mechanics, meditative practices becoming just first nature, right? I'm not even saying second nature anymore, it's first nature. Age of Aquarius, full on, very matriarchy alignment in regards to what's being done now, which is, again, the patriarchal system. And a lot, of men are concerned or take offense to the concept of matriarchy because they just assume that matriarchy would rule the way patriarchy does. And that is not. Like, just look up the difference between patriarchal rule and matriarchal rule, and you will understand why that is not how matriarchs lead. It is not. Matriarchs lead with again, collective consciousness, very heart-centered leadership. And it's a balance that is needed and very much missing, that has led us to this tower moment that needs to happen. There needs to be a balance and integration of divine masculine and feminine, which again is very matriarchal in that sense, because matriarchies also understand that there are specific roles that they leave for their divine counterpart to, like, you got that, baby, you know what I'm saying? And I got this, and you know that I got this, so we good, you know what I mean? And it's nobody holding anybody down type of energy. Focus on your vision, passions, purpose-driven lifestyles, honoring your gifts, shed to shine and share, practicing self-love and love ethic, transcend. When I think of transcendence and transcend, it's transcend. End the trance that we are in, that we have been put under, the hypnosis that so many of us have been put under. And that is what's going to elevate us and transcend us to the place that we're supposed to be, and this nation and the world should be. Sovereignty over security, faith and freedom over fear, thrive over survive, thinking about community, humanity, equanimity, equality, sacred service, we versus me, just abandoning the self-importance and the narcissism and the ego-driven decisions. And we have to think about ourselves being a bird that's perched on a branch that is so confident in our wings that we're not even concerned about how thin the branch may be. Because right now we are all on a very thin branch with this energy. And this is why I'm saying to stay in alignment with the sun energy of what needs to come, what needs to happen for that to come, and know that we are going to soar through it all, even when that branch breaks. How to prepare: educate yourself about current events, do your research, watch mass media with critical eyes and ears, study, research, read, acquire skills. Right now, with anything that can happen, if we have community, if we tribe up and we all have our skills and we figure out, okay, you're good at this and you're good at that, and we think about bartering and trading, it doesn't matter what happens to the dollar. It doesn't matter what happens to gold standard or not. It doesn't matter. If we have our communities solid and intact and we know who to lean on for certain things to get things done, we're going to be good. We're going to be good. So it's really that kind of energy right now. Saving your money, thinking about getting your finances in order, being frugal without having a scarcity mindset. Don't make any large investments right now, especially if it's not something that's going to appreciate in value. If you do invest and you have something to invest in gold, invest in agricultural land. And I say agricultural land specifically because land that you can grow on. Land that you're not just going to put a house on or a dome home. I love me some dome homes. But that you can plant your seeds quite literally for yourself and your community. Think about that. Think about your community. stock up on your food and your water. We see the food shortages happening already. They playing games with that. It is what it is. You see what they're doing to the truckers right now. So all of these things is what we have to start to pay attention to. Be mindful of the stock market, crypto, NFTs, all of those investments, and who's saying what about what. Because even from whether it's me or anyone, we don't know what we're talking about, and we know what we're talking about. It is a time to believe everything and nothing. As a result, you have to go with what resonates with you, and you got to put your ducks in a row as much as you can, as easily as you can. And it's not about fear-based, it's about preparation. So when I say all of these things, stock up on food and this, get a generator, I don't want nobody to be freaking out. But I can assure you that if some shit goes down and you don't have these things, that's when you're going to freak out. So do it now. Do it now. And through it all, have patience and have hope and stay in alignment. But know that you got your little nest egg. Know that you got your generator. Know that you got some of those little, flame thingies that, old school we used to put our food in the little foil pans, and we got a little flame thingy to heat up the food, that kind of stuff. Kerosene lamps. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. West Indians, y'all know what I'm talking about. All right. Prepare to be on the front line and rebuild. Stand your ground. Hold the line, no matter what. Stay pure. Protect your DNA and your God gene. Get innovative with your creativity and your community. Encourage yourself and others. Meditate, shed, heal. Take initiative. Initiative is probably my favorite word, or at least one of them. I call it the 1111 word because it has 4 eyes in it. So when I connect, and as you know, I, back to natural, I spell with 2 eyes because of that alignment with master number 11. With the I see God in you, I see God in me, you see God in me, God is in us, we are God. That I relation, that is what initiative is about, is co-creating this existence. So there being 4 eyes in initiative brings in those 4 ones, that 1111 energy. So definitely think about the initiative that you want to take for yourself and your community. Examine your beliefs, your values, your morals. It is the final call. It is the judgment call on what side you're on. So again, it's not too late to think about that. It is unfortunate that we have to think about it that way, but it is what it is for right now. Things are shifting. Things are changing. That's what this energy is all about. But when we get to that other side, that light at the end of the tunnel, that dawn after the dark, where do you want to be? Who do you want to be? And who do you want to be standing with? What alignments do you want to have? What do you want in your body and out of your body? Outside of your body and within your body. As above, so below. As so within, so without. It's that. It's that. It's all of that. So think about all of that, and it is not never too late to detoxify, purify, fortify. My queens know I share that mantra with them that I was given, that I say daily throughout the day. Detoxify, purify, fortify. And we have to think about how we can make those choices for ourselves, even if something was already done for whatever reason, and we want to kind of go a different route with that alignment, with that purification, with that detoxification, with that fortification. Whatever happens, just like we've experienced with what's happening through COVID-19 and all of this stuff, we're appreciating things so much more now. There's a lot that we took for granted that now we're like, wow, I really wish things could go back to normal, which is what inspired Go Back to Natural, because normal is what got us in this mess in the first place. So through it all, we're going to start understanding and appreciating humanity more, and collective consciousness and soul tribe and meditation and spirituality and ancestral alignment and all of these things that we allowed modern technology and systems and the social structures to uproot us from. And now we are remembering, putting our pieces back together again so that we can remember who we are. And it really is about rerouting and realigning with nature, and again, as above, so below. So I share that, and I will share more, and I really, really hope that you join myself and Cleesta Cotton and Tony Taylor and the Queens and whoever else joins for Ancestral Alchemy tomorrow, 2/22/22. In the meantime and in between time, lest we forget, Time to get back to natural.